Aloha, my kako. This is Oracle of the Golden Spiral. Today, I'm reading for the full moon in Cancer. I moved in November, and I've kind of been on somewhat of a journey and adjustment. And now I'm like 45 minutes additionally, 45 minutes more away from my kids' school. So driving 4 hours a day has really put a hamper on getting back into the groove. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but all of this adjustment, like, has kind of felt like preparing for a new beginning, and this full moon seemed like a good time to reconnect with you all as we do a last release before this brand new future that we've been building, right, over the last like 18 months. So if you're a subscriber, mahalo for your support. You are appreciated, and I am here for you. As we're in Capricorn season, we'll be starting with Capricorn and moving through to Sagittarius. Okay, here we go, Capricorn. Capricorn, you have Nellis, the Alchemist, number 27, and Orville Parrot, number 50. Okay. It feels, Capricorn, that you are reaching a point where you're able to communicate in a way that changes all that's come before. There has been, it seems like, a stagnant period for you, which you are moving through by simply communicating, finding the appropriate ways to communicate with people. It feels a lot like you're meeting them where they are, and that is making all the difference in the collaboration and communication and community building that you're doing. Let's see. Let's get a little bit more information for Capricorn, please. One more for Capricorn. There is this very big sense of, like, that's too many, of being stuck. Yeah, here we go. So it really is about coming from an authentic place. That communication, people can feel when, hey there, people can feel when, when communication is forced or when it is authentic. And I think in this situation, you've come a long way in working towards what is going to, like I said earlier, meeting people where they are, communicating from a space that understands what your audience is, and that will make all the difference in what it is that you're trying to build and how you move forward in this brand new space. Let's see, is there anything else I want to say? There is an energy here of I mean, it's so much deeper than, okay, authentic communication, but that is so surfacey when we really take a look at what's going on here. The journey to find out who you are cannot be negated. That it's incredibly important as far as being able to, first, to communicate your authenticity, you need to know exactly who that is. And so a lot of work has been done for you, and it seems like there's been a lot of, like, there's a hermit energy feeling here, which the reason I say hermit instead of hangman, they're very similar, but the reason I say hermit versus hangman is because it's not really about, it is in a sense seeing it from a different point of view once we get to the other people, but really there's that congealing of, your energy and your space and who you authentically are. If I want to move into this new space, right? We've been doing this for like maybe about 14 to 16 months. So if I want to move into this new space, how am I, who do I want to show up as in that new space? And that, solidifying that and building a commitment to that, is all of the background that's gone on to be able to show up in this space. The secondary portion of that would be, you know, once we know who we are, what does that look like in regard to who we're communicating with and what that, you know, who you are uniquely, and how to connect with someone else uniquely. And I think doing the hard work that's been done to go ahead and solidify who you are and what you know, who you want to be moving into that new space has helped you be honest with yourself about who it is and what you want. And then because you've been able to, you know, that's not always easy. So being able to do that with yourself is so much harder than identifying other people, right? Like because of the personal portion of it. But in doing that, I'm so sorry, I don't know what's going on with my throat. But in doing that, you're able to easily identify others because you're coming from a space of really taking a good hard look at things, and you're prepared to do so. And so creating that connection on how you want to show up and where this person is helps you to meet them where they are and to communicate effectively moving forward these things that you are looking forward to and desiring. And while you may have been stuck in those, you know, in how to move forward and where to go in the past, you are, because you've done all of that work, it's allowing you and facilitating exactly what you want as far as communicating with others for a desired result, right? There's a trueness and a wholeness to it. It's not like, you know, desired result. It sounds like I'm talking about manipulation, but it's not manipulation. It's honestly meeting people where they are in your true authentic self, in a way that is well received and feels good to people, like the exact opposite of manipulation. And that energy that you're creating between you and whoever it is that you're communicating with leads to a more solid, you know, relationship, friendship, working group, whatever it may be, as you know, and kind of solidifies almost like a brand new beginning, or at the very least getting started on that new journey, right? Anything else I want to say about that? I think that's what I have for you, Capricorn. Thank you so much. Please go ahead and join me again. I will be doing each individual sign sometime throughout this week. All right? Mahalo. Moving on to Aquarius. Aquarius, what do we have during this full moon in Cancer for Aquarius, please? Full moon in Cancer for Aquarius. What are the energies for Aquarius, please? Okay, Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, you have the Singer of Intuition, number 7, and Fairy Guide, number 0. So Fairy Guide, if you have been watching my moon readings before, Fairy Guide is essentially for the owner of the deck to create their own fairy and explain, you know, with an energy that is personal to them. I leave this blank for you folks because it really is your direct connection and communication with the universe. So having the Singer of Intuition and the Fairy Guide is like this total understanding and acceptance that you have a unique connection to Creator, right? To whoever that may be, your God, the universe, spirit, whatever. However you want to relate to that that energy and the divine. Now this is very broad and general, so it probably could be different for each of you. Like, what realm of your life are you finding that you are starting to feel connected in a very spiritual way, to be quite honest. I mean, this is the song of the universe in your bones. And so in some aspect of your life, you really have, it's like even if you have never had any feeling of there's something greater than all this, there's something like a higher power, or you've never felt connected to that personal, you know, you've never personally felt connected to that before, it seems that that is an incredibly important aspect of your being and your understanding right now. It's too many. They are flying out though. So let's get, I mean, I hesitate to, okay, well, it's still just going to be a little bit more general and broad, but it really is about enlightenment, growth, nurturing. It's happening in a realm that may have seemed lacking or deficient to you. I mean, maybe to no one else, but to you. And so this connection and this, I guess, if you've been seeing synchronicities, if you've been just kind of in flow, if you've been in the energy that helps you to, it's such a hard energy to explain. Like, it's an energy of comfort and feeling that you're in the right place at the right time. That feeling of connection and knowing that you have importance and like, I don't know how to say it any better than that you have a place and that you really are special, and that feeling will only grow as, you know, as we move through this new cycle. And I think that you're going to find a lot of, it helps us, like, it seems like that feeling would why am I working in dichotomies today? It's so weird. It seems like that feeling would go ahead and give us a little bit of ego, right? Like, would give us like this intense like, okay, have you guys ever experienced this where someone, they have been told they've done a good job? I mean, they really have, and so they've been told they've done a good job, and it kind of goes to their head and they start getting loud and kind of telling everyone what to do and that type of thing. Like, it's not that energy. It's more of a comforting energy that allows you to feel really grounded. It's like if we want to say, even though it's high vibe, like the grounded solidness of this feeling of feeling like you really belong in this world, that you are special and you have something to accomplish or achieve. And that nurturing and that groundedness gives you a solid place to work off of. And so when you make decisions and when you you know, tackle all the things that life has to bring us, there is really this synergy and growth in it, because of the fact that you're not questioning yourself, you're not worried, you don't have any of that. It's like, because it's like a fluttering energy, right? Like this, like high oscillation that, like, it's like that the Two of Swords often gives us, right? Like, or even the Two of Pentacles, but in a mind space, in a psychological aspect, it would be the Two of Swords, like not being able to make that decision and being kind of unable to move as assured into the new space. But it's kind of like overcoming that. And if you can imagine making decisions or moving forward in life with that comfort and kind of assuredness, we can make decisions quicker, and we are more confident when we're making those decisions, leading to a better outcome. Solace number 13 is, synthesis. It's feeling connected. It's feeling like we have the knowledge we need to do and create and build. And with this synthesis and the synergy between the universe and you, anything that comes your way as you move forward is going to, you can move forward with that assuredness, with that strength and courage and confidence in what it is that you're doing. So I was afraid if I pulled something, right, like always trust the universe. I felt like it was so broad, and it's going to be different for everyone. And so I was a little bit afraid to pull something and pinpoint it, because I felt like there would be a loss in resonance there. But again, just this general energy of growth, development, and synthesis that comes with the sun's light. Universe always knows better than we do. So let's see if I want to say anything else about this. No, I think that's what I have for you. Thank you so much, Aquarius. Mahalo. And we will be moving on to Pisces. Okay. What do we have for Pisces during this full moon in Cancer? What energies do we have? What is the energy for Pisces during this full moon in Cancer, please? Energy for Pisces during this full moon in Cancer. Let's give it one more. That didn't feel so great. There we go. For this new moon, full moon in Cancer. What do we have for Pisces, please? Okay, Pisces. Okay. We have death number 53 and honesty number 40. So Pisces, this is about welcoming change. What is it that is changing in your life? What is it that that maybe you've been grappling with some time, but we haven't been completely honest about the fact that it needs to change, or it needs to be removed, or we need to go our separate ways, right? It's the feeling and the energy I get off of this might be connected to a job that you really connect with, or that you thought was, the job of your dreams at one point. Or maybe this is about a connection that, right, like what's coming up for me with this Pisces is that energy of, how to explain this? So in my life, what I've learned is that grief doesn't just hit us in a way that's like, okay, someone passes away and grief. One of the hardest things to deal with is something that you've envisioned, some future that you have actually seen in your mind's eye, and that you have put effort and energy into. And, we can very well grieve. Like, nothing is harder to lose than a future that will never come to be, right? And so I think that in the past, 12 to, 14 to 16 months, you've really been dealing with, I think this new world that we're about to go into is going to be so amazing for you, in such a deep way as Pisces can, be. There's a depth to Pisces that is, doesn't exist in a lot of other signs. You're Pisces for a reason. And so, but again, there is also a very dreamlike quality to Pisces. And so, we're able to envision these things, and somewhat in a romanticized way. And again, like I said, this has a lot to do with coming to terms and being very honest with yourself about things dreams that we've had, things we've envisioned that will never come to pass. And it's not that it's a lost cause for all. It can be re-envisioned and reimagined into something new, and modified to actually fit what the situation and environment is, but in that romanticized, pristine way. We have to be honest with ourselves about the fact that it may not look exactly like that we've probably known that for some time now, but now are we really realizing that without that acceptance, that moving forward will not be as easy, or will lack a sense of stability if we're not facing what that reality is, or what that truth is, right? Let's see. Let's get one more for Pisces here. There is an energy of, you are going to be able to, there's also an energy here about forgiving yourself for having the dream. You should have the dream. That dreaming, and that, don't let it make you cold or harden you, because that dreamer aspect, that romanticized aspect needs to be incorporated into your path moving forward. It's just, also being able to see that when you're not seeing it reflected back to you in the world, being cognizant of that. We should all start out with that, with, you know, high anticipation, high understanding, wanting the best. But that when we see that that is not coming through, to be honest about it, because that's when you can actually adjust for the scenario. If we, you know, ignore what we're seeing because it doesn't fit into our preconceived notions, then we aren't able to work. We don't have all the information, right? And it seems like we've been hiding ourselves from that information. And right now is a time for you to release that and to really be able to, when you get information coming in, to be able to, you know, I know you're a Pisces, but there's a King of Swords feeling here where it's like, you know, the King of Swords often is kind of like checking off. It's like when you see something in the world reflected to you that it has a negative connotation sometimes, like this person is like this, right? They're just always so destructive or whatever. And you don't notice the times when they try to help somebody or facilitate a process, because that's building. So you just push that aside. But the minute that, you know, the team is building something and that person goes, that's not going to work because of this, instantly we're like, see, they're not on board. Definitely deleterious to the work, definitely destructive in their cause, right? So that is often, it's like, you know, we have preconceived notions and we're checking them off every time we see them. That's kind of the King of Swords energy to a degree. It is also clarity, but it's that it does in its, you know, lower vibration have that quality to it, of check boxes and preconceived notion and proving ourselves to be true. And so I think this is why is it the dichotomy? It's like the opposite energy of that, right? Like, so it's it's having that dreamlike quality, and when bad things happen, we're just like, we just ignore that. But when something happens that's like where someone gives to us in a very meaningful way, then we're like, oh yes, they are the best on earth. This is my person. Absolutely, this is the person that was right for the job. Absolutely, I'm so super glad that I have been friends with this person. They can do no wrong, right? And what comes with that to a certain degree is, and it came up earlier and I was trying to get away from it, but in the energy, but it's that, what is the word for it? Shucks. It's like, it's hard to get to without explaining, well, you know, some of the things that I've been through in my life. And so, it's not encouraging. It's like, it starts with the E, and it's like that. It's when we enabling, right? Like, there's a certain, sorry, I may have lost you in that part right there. I lost myself for a second, but it's like that enabling, right? Like someone could do like 10 terrible things, but the one right thing that we're looking for, they do that, and all of a sudden they are amazing. And what we don't realize we're doing is we're enabling that person to do 9 horrible things before they get to that one great thing. And our perception of what is going on is very skewed. And so I think, Pisces, this is not, may have implications in the outside world and with other people, but I think that it's really talking about the that processes that is going through you, right? So now we also have the Bright Mother, which is number 16. And this is really about transforming that. And that's what I was talking about earlier, right? If we aren't authentic, if we are not able to honestly see what it is that is truly going on, if we don't see those 9 bad things and we only see the one good thing, then how can we effectively engage with that environment to bring about what needs to occur, or should we be engaging in that environment? And we don't have the ability to develop and grow and further whatever it is that we're working on in a meaningful way, because, and to have it blossom and bloom and generate more, right? And become more than it ever was, because we really aren't dealing with it in a total, right? The total is the 9 bad things and then the one good thing. But if we're only approaching the situation from that one good thing and ignoring all the rest of it that lies beneath, then how can true development, change, and growth be established? I hope that's making sense. I don't know. Let's see if there's anything else I want to say about that for you, Pisces. Oh, I will say that, like, are we really doing it justice? Are we really, by only acknowledging and accepting the preconceived good notions and only dealing with those, are we really... It seems like, oh, well, if I just say good things and I just think in advance, or, if I just point out, or if I only recognize that this is going to have implications with anything, like my children, right? Like if I just, I can think that I'm going to raise them and do amazing things by just dealing with thank you, did a great job on that project or that homework assignment or that, or my daughter will just randomly go in she's a very lovely but strange child. She'll just go into her room and just clean everything up and then take me on a tour. And I absolutely love that. But if I only praise her for that and don't talk to her about how she just will drop her clothes in the bathroom and fling socks anywhere in the living room, then I'm not really dealing with that in a realistic or total way, right? Then maybe that wasn't the best example, but it's sometimes we have to, I guess what I'm trying to get at is sometimes we have to face those other things to really truly be the true nurturer. Because in the future, if she doesn't, clean up her office and take everyone on a tour, people just might be like, good God, what is this walking disaster that's walking around? And so it would be, praising her for that aspect of it, but also incorporating the other parts of it, for the rest of the week, we can't just, fling socks around the place, and why that shouldn't be so. And so it feels very internal, but that it could, this understanding of recognizing and being honest with ourselves about the things that need to that we need to find adjustment with, so that when we do, understanding that within will help us when we work out, and when we why did I say work out, when we walk out or bring that out into our tangible world, and how that will affect the growth and development that that you're gonna see present in the world. Try it. And I think what you'll see is that something will bloom and grow for you, and that you're the catalyst for that change, and that will feel much more valuable, and you'll feel greater about yourself than you know, the prior energy of what was that word again? Good God, Aaron. Enabling, right? Right. So Pisces, I think that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I am seeing somewhat of a theme in these first 3 readings, and it has to do with, you know, authenticity and development. I mean, each one of the signs had a different message, but if you do have any Capricorn or Aquarius, since that's what I've done so far in your chart, go to those sections and see if that might relate to you as well during this time. Okay? Thank you so much, Pisces. Mahalo. Okay, moving on to Aries. What do we have for Aries at this full moon in Cancer, please? What is the energy for Aries during this full moon in Cancer? Aries energy, please. What do we have for Aries for this full moon in Cancer? Oh no, Aries. Okay. This is definitely going to be one of release, right? We're not developing something, we are releasing something, and in that comes the development. So you have Luminous Doom number 56 and the Undressing of a Salad number 31. This is about, quite simply, depression because of what seems to be impossible. What is it that you think is impossible, Aries? Why do you feel that way? And are you, I think it's time to investigate, are you, is that overwhelming impossibility leading you to a downward spiral for that involves depression and not being able to, you know, see the forest through the trees, walking through it with the filters that almost negate any, it's like preconceived notions and emotional challenge that make it even harder to create or accomplish, making things seem even more impossible, right? There's that. It's like an electrical badminton game that goes on between these two energies. Self-destructive habits and thoughts, creating more self-destructive habits and thoughts, right? It's asking you to shift your energy into keeping a cool head when faced with impossibilities, to work through, okay, maybe the whole thing's not possible. What elements of it are child's play to you? What elements of it can you cross off the list or conquer first? Where is this coming from? Let's see. Let's get actually advice card for Aries. Okay. So Aries, you have She of the Correct number 5. And that really is the yin energy, right? It's receptivity. It's nurturing. So yeah, similar to what I said before. I think there maybe is a more there's a depth to it that I didn't get earlier. And probably that's the same thing that's happening with you, right? We're like on the surface, it just seems daunting and like a real challenge. Like, how are we going to move through this, if at all, right? But it's like one ball at a time, one grain of sand at a time, one thing at a time. And I think what you'll notice is if you can take the three things in it that you can do like nothing, that you can accomplish or satisfy the requirements of offhand, just with, you know, there are parts of it that the whole thing is not daunting, right? It's some elements you're going to very often be able to accomplish with utmost success because of just who you are and what you've been through before. And then working through to, like, we used to have this thing where it was like, you know, this sounds horrible, but categorizing people that you are managing, right? So like the A team is going to do good no matter what you do. Like, you can't stop them. They are their own motivation and their own success, right? They're just self-drivers. And the B team is going ahead and like they have the will, they just don't have the skill. And so you accentuate them. Like, they would be driving if they would be driving themselves if they had the skills to do so. And so you provide skills. And C team is like, they have the skills, but they don't necessarily have the will. And so it's about coaching that to see if you're able to move them to A team by providing the support and the everything that they need to generate that will, right, if they want to do it. And then there's D team, which is like no skill and no will. And those are the people you simply coach out of the experience because there's something out there that's for them, but it's not this, right? So maybe breaking it down and tackling the first things first, you know, deal with A team. And I'm not saying that this is about work or a group dynamic or a team, but in whatever goal you're trying to accomplish, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a project at work that's just you and your computer, or whether it be a team and a development of a team, or in a work environment or in a family, right? It's really about categorizing the tasks at hand and breaking it down so that maybe it doesn't seem quite so impossible, and doing the things first that you are able to do like nothing, and then the stuff that requires a little bit more work, you know, identifying what that work needs to be and either gaining that knowledge or, you know, putting the extra, you know, elbow grease into it to get that accomplished. And what you'll see is as you start knocking off things on that punch list, on that checklist, the energy and the synergy with whatever this is that you're trying to develop is going to start giving back, right? It's going to start being reciprocal. And that is our way out of, you know, self-destruction and habits that are definitely not going to get this accomplished. Who is it? Is it Menopon? He always says, if you believe that you can do it, you're right, right? If you believe you can't do it, you're also right. So which is it? Which is it? The much like when the Empress is around, there is opportunity, there is fertility and expansion in this energy, right? And it's essentially saying, Aries, that you can accomplish it. But it's about dissecting it and taking it slower, and while the outcomes are unpredictable, keeping that steady and cool demeanor as you work through them, making the impossible possible. You know, this yin energy, this Empress energy is a promise that it can be done. It can work. That the potential is there. It's how we approach it as to what that potential ends up being. And from these cards, it says that it's all within your ability. It's all within you. You are the captain of your ship. So what is your destination, and how have you decided to get there? Okay, Aries, that is what I have for you. I'm wishing you all the best. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me during this full moon in Cancer. Mahalo. Moving on to Taurus. What do we have for Taurus, please? What is the energy for Taurus during this full moon in Cancer? Shuffle Taurus energy, please. What do we have for Taurus? This full moon in Cancer. Okay, well, as we switch from Aries to Taurus, it's almost as if they're swapping energies here. Aries had, you know, investigating their yin principle, and, you know, the Empress, growth and possibility. And Taurus, you have He of the Fiery Sword, number 4, which is yang energy, about justice and protection. And then Fairies of the Future, number 33. Okay, Taurus. I'm going to pull your third card early because I'm not sure where this one's going. Let's see. What else do you have for Taurus? Please clarify this energy for Taurus, please. I'm going to pull out both of them. Okay. Okay. So, Taurus, you additionally have Luathus the Wild, number 57, and the Singer of Connection, number 6. This is like a grab the bull by the horns kind of... Oh, I'm sorry, Taurus. Maybe someone's doing it to you. Maybe you're doing it to something else. But it's a real opportunity strikes, grab the bull by the horns, because we're moving forward. It's about your confidence and spontaneity into entering into something as you move boldly into the future. It may have to do with it's something that you're going to connect with on a soul level, whether that be some type of entrepreneurial effort or a relationship. And that relationship could be a romantic relationship or any other relationship between two people or a group of people, right? It's really about taking the step out into the unknown, and like kind of fool energy, like leaping, knowing, right? The Fool we talk about has that knapsack where it's like he has very little as he moves into that future, because he trusts himself and he knows that what he's gonna encounter, he has the skills to tackle. And so it's about taking that leap into something, and knowing that the energy will work and trust, because you're involved and trusting yourself in that experience, knowing that you're going to be successful. Knowing that you're going to have the balance, knowing that you have within you the understanding, the excitement, and yet the empathy to make whatever this is a success. In Aries reading, it was about, I don't know why I keep going back to Aries reading. You may be dealing with an Aries, or you may have Aries dominant in your chart, even though you're in Taurus. Or there could be something in astrology that connects that, right? Like there's something working within that space for you in an important part of your chart, whatever this is affecting. I don't know, because I'm not an expert on that. Can only see where the connections lie and feel the energy and, or I guess, report on it appropriately. But it feels like in Aries energy, it was seeming like an impossible task. And as we move into the Taurus energy, it's about kind of the flip of that switch, or now we have turned on, we're confident and we're bold and we're going to move forward. Yours is very straightforward. I mean, it really just screams, everything's going to be okay, just do it. So I think that is actually what I'm going to leave you with, Taurus. Let's just make sure. I will say one thing. As you move into this, things are going to go well, right? Everything is a process. And so during that process, things are going to go well, and things are going to, you might hit a couple speed bumps along the way, not going to lie. But when you do encounter those situations or those energies or those scenarios, what you're going to really have to just keep remembering is to trust, right? To trust that you know and you have the skills to be able to overcome that. And I think maybe why it's presenting that Aries energy is to me is that we cannot move back into that where there's this it's happening to me type of thing. It's about still remaining in that you know that yang energy of I got this. No matter what, I got this during that process. So if there is any information or advice available to you, I would say in furtherance of this step that you're taking, I would say along that journey, remaining in that very confident energy is going to drive you through and help you to accomplish even that which presents as speed bumps to you as you move forward. Okay, Taurus, that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. And I'm wishing you all the best during this full moon in Cancer. All right. Moving on to Gemini. What do we have for Gemini during this full moon in Cancer, please? What do we have for Gemini in this full moon in Cancer? What is the energy for Gemini? What is the energy for Gemini, please, in this full moon in Cancer? Okay. Okay, Gemini. this is about putting in, you have the Master Maker, number 22, and She of the Kruak, number 5. So we talked a little bit about in Aries how this is the yin energy, all about receptivity, nurturing, fertility, very like the Empress energy. And then paired with your Master Maker is gives me the energy of it's swirly, I'll tell you that. There's like this a dizzy swirling that is occurring. Because with receptive energy, there's a lot of it is non-movement, right? Waiting for it to come. And so we've kind of been, it's like one foot is nailed to the floor while we spin in this environment that's asking for movement and growth and this is all about pushing boundaries. But when you have one foot nailed to the floor, that's a difficult energy to be in. And so what it's going to take is like this, I think Gemini is more of a challenge than you've been faced with in quite some time. For all the adventure loving and knowledge and experience that you have, for some reason, it's asking you to brave depths that you've never braved before as you move into this, whatever we've been working on for the past, year to 16 months, 12, 14, 16 months. As we enter into that new time, it's almost as if you're being asked to almost, it's so hard to explain this energy. It's like you've been spinning in this circle and you've had one, it's like one of the tent posts. It's like the tornadoes here, and one of the tent posts is like stuck in the ground. And as we've been creating this movement and everything, we're still kind of like twisted up and stuck to this one place, and it's like releasing that pin and having a rocket shoot off. This is not uncommon for my Gemini, like how I guess relate to Gemini, because I think like way back, if you watch some of the first videos, we were talking about like there was a coil and a spring building, and that was as far back as when was it, like June, July of last year. And I think it's finally time to take that peg out. It's about it's about not necessarily the unmoving or the come to me energy of it's not presenting in that way where there's this stillness. It's like there already has been the stillness, and now it's asking us to accomplish these things that we never thought we could accomplish. Right? Master Maker is about our best work, and more is necessary to be able to catapult into a brand new level. It's the master, right? Master Maker, to catapult us there. And this energy, it's like you've been building up the momentum, and it's about releasing that pin and understanding that in our yin energy, it's not just about waiting for it to come to us, right? That's probably why everything that we've had, if we're not taking that experience out into the world, we're creating this energy and this tornado effect, which actually is going to help launch us into a brand new level, into a brand new sphere, moving into this next new moon, right? Like that's when we're probably going to start building in this new experience and this new life that we've been kind of solidifying during the past year and more. But understanding that also with this yin energy is the, how do I explain this? That it's like there's a softness, a gentle, a gentleness, like like a pouring into, which helps to, you always know I love the words grace and development. Development. And so it's about not sitting still, but expressing, changing that yin energy to express the energy that will help nurture and grow as the ascension happens, but also like accentuating that extension. Am I making any sense? It will take aspects of this type of energy to exceed beyond, but it's almost like, again, that dynamic of it. It's not the I'm gonna sit here until it happens for me. It's the I'm gonna move forward because I understand that this experience, that I have what I need for that fertility, to actuate that fertility in the way of growth. Oh my God, I hope that this is connecting to you folks. Let me get one more card for Gemini, please. Where are you going, Gemini? Where are you going? And okay, Singer of the Chalice, number 12. Okay, this may have to do with relationships. Okay, here is where I'm seeing this connection now that we have the Singer of the Chalice. Singer of the Chalice, just to give you a background on this energy, is really like joyful willingness, like this unconditional trust that we have in either an idea, ourselves, or another person, right? It's the expression of an Ace of Cups, but that which has resonance in, it's like touching everyone with our Ace of Cups, like that which has a resonance within all that we see, do, and touch, right? And there's this unconditional love and trust that's coming through. And what I will tell you is that very often, Gemini, in your energy, there's this unwillingness to kind of solidify things because your mind is so quick. Your ability to understand all that is around you is so sharp. And very often it's like, I know that the Seven of Cups is a water card, but I feel like if you have any water in your chart as a Gemini, that is a lot of what you deal with in an energetic sense, is that, you are, you can see all of the options and opportunities. And so very, not unlike your, fellow air sign Libra, it's a challenge to, it's not that you can't make the decision, it's that you may, in fact, in your core, be unwilling to settle on one thing when there's so many other possibilities out there, right? So how can we ever be sure? Like anytime we get new information, what is best may change. And so what's difficult sometimes is to really, it may take a long time for you to connect with something or to decide that is something that you want to do. Let me give you an example. one of my friends was talking about his girlfriend and how she really, really wants a job, but there's just all of these jobs that might be great. It's hard for her to, she doesn't want to say she's going to do this one job, because then that becomes a career path. And so it kind of closes off. It's almost as if she's afraid to close off all other possibilities. And so therefore she just continues to go on looking, and it gets worse, right? Because then you see, when you have the ability to get another job, then there's even more possibilities with that, which makes the decision even harder, because now you're having to understand that you're going to be cutting off that as well if you choose this, right? So and I looked directly at him and I said, is she a Gemini? And he's like, yeah, how'd you know that? And it's because you guys are so amazing at being able to clearly identify, but oftentimes it can lead to not wanting to settle on one, because there's so many possibilities out there. And like I said a little bit earlier, was that, it feels as if, how it comes across to you, like, I'm not sure any other sign really deals with it, except maybe to some degree Libra, right? But like, if you choose something, then it closes off all other possibilities, which is not necessarily true. But because you can pick up, decipher, and calculate, and file information so quickly, much like a computer, it's challenging, because while many seek things when they need it to decide whether they made the right decision or not, and to readjust, that is more of them calling it up when they choose to, whereas for you it's a constant process that goes on. And so the adherence to anything for any, it's just a difficult hurdle to overcome in that sense. And I do think it's actually quite beautiful that Gemini is like that. And but I think here what it's asking you to do is that we've built up enough, we've learned enough, and if we take the sum total of everything that we've experienced and that we've categorized and we've calculated and we've put into our mental Rolodex, right? Our mental Dewey Decimal card system, if we're library, for a library analogy, or like if there's a or everything stored up in our bag, right? Like but it's time to make that decision to release and to move into that new space. And I think the only reason, or the guidance that's being given, the only reason you're going to make the decision, or the only I think that you're going to be fine, that it's going to become overwhelming, and you're going to move into that new space, whether you feel like you're ready to make that decision or not, is because it is true to your soul. It is something that speaks to you, and it's almost as if other things in the world are calling that out of you, and you have no choice but to follow it like a zombie into the realms of becoming more than you've ever been before. And I look forward to this, Gemini, for you. I look forward to you being able to, whatever this is for you, whatever accomplishment this is, it is going to put you in a whole new realm, and it's going to give you that satisfaction and clarity that you may have been looking for quite some time. Oh, I'm so excited for you. This is so good. Release the tent pin, release the nail. It's beautiful, Gemini. Is that all I want to say about this? I will leave you with these words. It's in your heart. So when you move into this space, having unconditional trust is really going to make all the difference. It's going to make all the difference, Gemini. Thank you, Gemini. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. Thank you for your time, especially because I'm sure that if you're still here, you went through all the non-decision making conversation that I just had. And so I thank you for sitting through that. I really do believe that you have, this is the makings of something absolutely great. Leap into it. I think that, leap into it, make the decision. I really think that you're going to, I think it's going to be world changing for you. Thanks again. Mahalo for your energy and time. Thank you, Gemini. Aloha. We are on Cancer. Cancer, what do we have for you, Cancer? This is your full moon. What are the energies for Cancer during their full moon cycle? Cancer energies. What do we have for Cancer during this full moon in Cancer? Okay, you have Geo the Slow, number 43, and Tatan the Self, number 45. Okay. There is something that you have been trying to see in a different light. We may be quickly changing our thought process, but ending up in a, maybe it's as simple as you're choosing to move slower than you have before. Maybe things, or we're definitely changing direction. And so if you've been trying to push, or I'm really reading the energy that is not here, to be quite honest with you, because I feel like this is a change in dynamic. So where we were is not where we're going. And this, for some reason, is coming through as where we're going. It's about, we're going to patience and persistence, and this is the underlying of this is a complete momentum shift, and it's like taking a right turn, right? And so okay, we may have been let me put it this way. We want something. We think about everything. We analyze it. We determine what the best action is. We learn about that and execute it with precision in a short period of time. And we're proud, and it doesn't give us what we want, right? Because what we have created is what we've created is what we got. But that isn't actually what we're looking for. What we're looking for is something that is going to take time and develop in the way that it needs to be what we want it to be. So, for example, I'm getting baking analogies, and I am not comfortable with those because I don't really know that much about baking. I mean, I do some baking, but like it's not like my realm. So why am I getting baking analogies? It's kind of like, you know, you mix up all the stuff for bread, you throw it in the oven, it's not bread. Because what you want is like, oh, it's bread maybe, but it's like a lump, right? Hard, dense. Let's use it as a, my mom is going to kill me if she hears this. Let's use it as a doorstop. There's a personal family story about that I'll share with you maybe someday. Right? Roof shingle. It's a roof shingle. It's a doorstop, but it's definitely not the kind of bread you were looking for. Now, we introduce yeast. Purification through patience. And we let that yeast, what is leavening? I feel like that's a word I should be using and I don't know what it means, but it's like we allow that bread to rise, and that's when we get that fluffy, soft, amazing bread with the crispy outside, right? Much like amazing French baguette, right? Like my previous boss of mine said there's nothing better than fresh baked bread. I don't know, because I go back to my mom's story about the roof shingle and the doorstop. I don't know. I mean, I've had amazing bread places, but I'm not sure that I've ever had like freshly baked bread. But you know, it's about that time and that period to understand that that why am I using the word leavening? I don't even know what that means. Why the baking analogy, please? Okay, let's move on to something that I rather talk about. An analogy I rather talk about, right? So, as a fire sign, I know, like, I'm always, like, ready to, like, jump into a relationship. And, like, just as a Leo, I just, like, pour all that affection on people. And then it ignites quickly, but it also dies out quickly, right? So if this is, like, a relationship setting, here's my story. But true lasting, long lasting, and then you break up because, like, you didn't really know the person. We were caught up in the passion of it, and you know, we didn't have like those things that are needed to solidify like a consistent long-term relationship. And so, you know, it's more about like slowly being friends, getting to know somebody, really understanding what makes them work, you know, screwing up a couple times and how you relate to them, and them, you know, telling you what the consequences of that are, and you know, really gaining that deep and solid understanding of a person to know whether that's a person you should enter into a relationship with or not. It's not unlike that. This is that new world that you're going to move into. And so if you are baking bread, then the previous analogy, I'm just kidding. If you are, you know, developing a project, things of that, it's like, you know, make your ops plan, decide what it is, adjust as needed, walk through it in the process to see if there's anything that you've missed, that type of experience. But if we're talking about a relationship, which is like, you know, I can relate to this on so many levels right now. It's about really building and creating that solid foundation between people so that you're building it on solid ground, that you're building it, and that you're choosing someone that you know about, and that you know how to face anything that may come along in the future with this person, who they are, how they're going to respond to any situation whatsoever, and how that fits into your life. And that is when you know, have a marriage that lasts until, and when we're on our deathbeds, people are like, it's not enough time, you know. That is how we create that, not by what I was doing, which is like, you're amazing, let's get married on Friday, you know, like, I didn't do that, I promise. But, you know, just jumping into, if we're talking about relationships, jumping into relationships that we have no business being in because we don't even know that person, right? It's about discernment. It's about taking your time and understanding all the moving parts so that you can really be sure that something is going to be of a lasting success. And with that, I will leave it on that note because it sounded so good. And I don't think I'm going to be able to say anything better going forward. So Cancer, this is what I have for you. Oh, we do have to get you one more card though. So let's get you one more card. I guess I am going to say more. Right? See, we weren't done. We weren't done working through it and figuring it out. So we weren't done. It's got to be a message. All right. One more for Cancer, please. Sorry, that just fell down. So she of the Cruac. Development. That's all I'm going to say. It adds an element of development. And it's really about just that allowance, right? The yin energy of allowing something to gain and to build and to present and to develop, so that when it is presented, it presents in the way and what we're looking for, versus going for that quick immediate success, which actually we didn't know anything about and doesn't end up turning out to be what we were looking for in the first place, right? Okay, Cancer, now that's what I have for you. I wish you the best during your full moon. And it looks like as you move forward into the future, you're going to be developing and conquering things in a different way, which is going to lead to your ultimate success. So best wishes to you. And I have just put everything in upside down. Maybe it is a 180 change. Well, if it comes out upside down, I'll fix it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Moving on to Leo. What do we have for Leo during this full moon? In Cancer. Leo in this full moon in Cancer. What is the energy for Leo, please? Leo energy, full moon in Cancer. Sorry. Okay, we have Laguna, number 39, and the fairy who was kissed by the pixies, number 21. Oh, Leo, this is finding self-love. This is about I'm instantly getting happier and happier, and I think that there has been, for Leos lately, it seems like they've kind of been in this like holding pattern, which, you know, for a Leo fire sign bright spirit, is anything but comfortable. It seems like through all of the lessons and experiences had in that stagnancy, for some reason, it all leads to self-love, self-nurturing, and finding that in a very authentic way, right? We as Leos are proud beings, but proud and pridefulness and knowing that you can accomplish and knowing that you're really great at things does not necessarily mean that your soul and your heart and your innards are nurtured, right? Our job is to be that light out there and to nurture and to fulfill and to guide and give to others, right? But not so much ourselves. And so I think we've been grappling for a long time when we're making the right decisions and we're doing for others and we're giving. Why? I think that dark period we went through in the stagnancy, it was like, why do we end up with the short end of the stick? And that can make a very angry lion. And I think that during this period of time, the basic main lesson through the past 12 to 16 months has been that we are in charge of loving ourselves first. We need to shine that sun on ourselves. Or we feel no recharge. We're not getting the recharge from the outside world, and maybe that's not, we wouldn't need that, and we wouldn't feel so like we're owed it, right? When we give in that unconditional unconditional manner. When we give in that unconditional manner, it is to be truly unconditional and not to require or to expect back. And with that, it's like, where does that energy come from? Where does it go? What is necessary? It seems necessary for there to be a reciprocation. Like someone come charge our battery, right? But I think that what this is saying is that it was all to show us that to give in that truly unconditional way, it may come back, it may not, but we all have to give some of that to ourselves, because we are the ones who are going to be able to recharge that battery. This is the Ace of Cups in its truest form. Ace of Cups and Queen of Cups. That's what this is. I mean, not exactly, but this is that energy. So if you guys know tarot, that's the energy that is coming through. It's about treasures through disasters. And the treasure through all this time of hardship and trial was to teach us that no one charges our batteries. We are responsible for charging our battery. We can give whatever we want to the world, but first it starts with us. We're very bad at Nine of Pentacles. In fact, I would say that you can write it in the comments if you think I'm wrong. I don't care. But I would say that Leos are adverse to Nine of Pentacles energy, right? We're people. We don't make our own garden and like sit in there. We go help everyone make their gardens, and then we wonder why ours is dry and dead, and we can get into like kind of a, well, I don't speak for all Leos, but like we can get into an energy where like, fine, well, screw your garden, but we don't build in our own garden. We just sit there and we look at it and we're like, this is terrible. And we go spray those dead flowers pink, right? And we go buy a new bag and we go fix it in all the unrealistic, unfulfilling ways. No, it's not about that. It's about being courageous. It's about moving through that fear of being authentic with yourself and understanding that it truly is up to you. You are amazing and powerful and life-changing, not just for other people, for you. This is about self-love. This is about love, self-love therapy. again, back to the Capricorn thing, and maybe there's some kind of thing going on with it, but back in the Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces readings, they were all somewhat interconnected in that what we're moving into the future was like this very like grounding and authentic space. And I think that's what it is for you too, Leo. But it's to understand that that it is also for us. There's a very, I think we think of a high vibrational Leo as someone who's just very self-sacrificing and who will just pour their heart out into everything and everyone around them. And I think that there's the shift in that understanding right now, which is that it's not necessarily the highest vibration it can be. The highest vibration it can be, it's definitely not by, low vibration where we get pissed off and feel taken advantage of and go spend $200 on making our hair nice and buying a new bag or a new outfit, right? Like, but I think what we are coming to see is that there is an even higher vibration of that, which is that not only do we put that energy out in the world, it's not just, somebody was talking about, it was Miriam Kramer. If you haven't seen her, go see her. She has a YouTube channel, but she was talking the other day about about what, I just lost it. Shit. Darn it. Okay, look, going and buying all new things and stepping out in my new beautiful dress is not maybe the highest vibration for me, right? Like retail therapy, not a high vibration, Leo. I still do it. It works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. But, giving all of that to others. But I think that it is where I was going with this, and maybe we'll see if Miriam comes back into it, what she said the other day. But where I was going with this was really about giving. We give and offer that energy to those around us, but really we are the ones that can recharge our battery ourselves. And if we are not actually doing that, are we really at our best? Understanding that you can give to yourself, understanding that only we are really truly responsible for that. And fulfilling ourselves is key. I think I don't know, I'm trailing off on things, so please, if you're still with me, thank you. But that Nine of Pentacles energy, right? I don't think Leo's like that Nine of Pentacles energy. We don't want our garden. We don't like that isolation necessarily, or where we built our space and that type of thing. But it also talks about like the giving what you can, right? There's giving what you are able to give after you've taken care of what it is that your needs are. So it's about plugging in your battery, and when you're at full charge, like Eva on Wally, when you're on full charge, that's when you can fly around and give the additional energy to others. But if we do not do that for ourselves, and we just expect to have the world give it back to us and reciprocate it in that way, we are not going to be fulfilled. And so it is almost self-abusive to not take care of and to give yourself first. And it's hard for us to do that. The minute we have something, we want to like share it and give it to the world, right? And so, and very often think of others before ourselves, but it's about that Ace of Cups. It's about filling our bucket. so that we can make sure it's, oh, this is exactly what it is. It's like putting your face mask on, you know, in the airplane, the oxygen mask. It's about putting your oxygen mask on first so that you are alive and healthy and well to be able to get that oxygen mask on the person who needs help next to you. Yes, that is this. And that is what you're moving forward into the future, Leo. Gosh darn it, I really wish I could remember what Miriam had said, because it goes so well with this. If I happen to remember it, I'll bring it back at some point in this reading, or maybe I'll just comment on it. I can't believe I lost it. Maybe I just wasn't meant to incorporate that in, but she's often so wise. I'm gonna spend like 10 more seconds trying to recall it, but if this is where I leave you, thank you so much, Leo. Thank you for sharing your time and your energy with me, and I wish you all the best as you move into this beautiful healing energy. This change of focus is going to do great things for you. Mahalo. Nope, I don't got it. Moving on to Virgo. What do we have for Virgo? What do we have for Virgo for this? Oh, jumping out. Excitement. That's what we have for Virgo in this new moon in full moon in Cancer. I'm sorry. I have to clear that. Last time I did that, Aries got a little bit of a short end of a stick, and I feel like if I missay it, channeling different energies. So we're going to clear that, and we're going for the full moon in Cancer for Virgo, please. Full moon in Cancer for Virgo. What is the energy for Virgo during this time, please? Energy for Virgo. Okay, Virgo. Oh, okay. Okay, Lease of the Shadows, number 44, and Oh That Gnome, number 26. Okay, this is about protection and breaking cycles. You are going to be moving forward into a new space. Maybe you've been grappling with cycles that seemed unending this past year, 12, 14, 16 months. I have no doubt, because I do not know why it won't stop, but I'm seeing some of it for you. I have no doubt that you have been faced with mirrors of this in your life repeatedly, uncomfortably, for the last 12, 14, 16 months. If not, this is not your story. But this is pattern breaking energy right here. That which doesn't serve you, that which was holding you back. You have somewhere to go, Virgo, and whatever was holding you back, you have been stared in the face by it. You have been able to see it and be uncomfortable in it through other people. Other people who have been doing very similar or the same things that are deleterious to you, and what you would like to accomplish going forward. You have met them. You have seen them. You have seen it play out in your real world all around you. And it has forced you to take a look at some of the things and some of the ways that you have been self-sabotaging yourself. It's also had you take a really good look, not only self-sabotage, but so much, to the point and the fact of allowing people who are not meant to be in your life to be in your life, and right now, it seems like you're understanding that breaking those patterns and clearing those things out is what is going to give you that free, that brand new open road as you move forward, because there is some dream, something in you that you're reaching for, and clearing out the baggage and letting go of the people keep stepping on to hold you back. Getting rid of all of that is how you're going to be able to achieve your success. One more for Virgo, please. I get one more card for Virgo, please. The Singer of Healing. Yeah, this is pattern breaking. Pattern breaking is so simple, right? Just stop doing it. And yet, so difficult. So difficult. So difficult. But right now, this energy at this full moon is helping you to release that, to identify what those things are. You've been identifying them over the past year. If not, this is not your reading. But I truly feel that for the Virgos I'm reading for, they have identified those things and they know exactly what it is that's going to take them into this next phase. And it really is just about getting good with that and releasing the things that we saw, changing those habits, stopping the cycle, not allowing people in to commit their cycles upon us, things of this nature. And you're going to feel like this, so much. Expand your wings, let them dry, and moving on to ascension, right? The poopy and droopy need to be let be gone. Be gone, poopy droopy. And you know where you're going next, and all of this will help guide you and kind of readjust your compass to where you're heading. Free of baggage. I just got instead of carrying the 8 gallons of fresh water on your camping trip, you just take you take those little water cleansing tablets, right? Much different experience as you walk through the woods. Guarantee. Guarantee. And I don't know why, but for some reason Alaska is coming up very strong with me right now. My time in Alaska at Red Shirt Lake and also up by Denali. So I'm not sure if that means anything to anybody, but I do know that Mount McKinley is pretty big. And if you are heading off on, even a bus ride into Mirror Lake is 8 hours long. So if you are heading out on a journey, you are not going to want to take you are not going to want to take any of this baggage with you. Allow the release, break the pattern. I believe in you, Virgo. Thank you so much, Virgo, for sharing your time and your energy with me. I'm wishing you all the best during this full moon in Cancer. And we are moving on to Libra. What do we have for Libra? What do we have for Libra during this full moon in Cancer? That felt like the one. Full moon in Cancer, please. For Libra. Very well, Libra. You have the Piper number 24 and the Topsy Turvets number 51. This is just a very sweet, fresh, new perspective. It's almost as if you are resetting the balances, the scales of justice. Yeah, I'm getting an energy, a calmness and a change in outlook. It's like a tug in my heart for a wish for a brighter future. But it does come with this like tiny pang in the back of me, in the back of, you know, my in the back of my heart, or in the back of my soul, whatever it is, to that I'm seeing what what actions I've done in the past that may have had like a tipping of the scales or a thumb on the scales. And it's almost as if that I'm not going to let that bother me or eat me up in any way, shape, or form. I recognize it. I probably have come to terms with it. And I am now in full understanding and awareness. And I'm not judging myself. And I'm resetting the scales to equal. And I feel incredibly good about that. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this changes all the people and things involved. Anything that whatever this rebalancing is, I'm excited to see how just those changes that I am proud to adjust for, how that positively affects the situations and people around me. It's so funny because in this there's a dichotomy of there's like this somewhat of a disassociation, but that is really in regards to who's to blame for what happened in the past. There's like a disassociation from that, and yet such an investment. It's like you're so disassociated yet so invested, and but the investment lies within making these changes and honestly and earnestly and hopefully waiting to see those changes and the development that happens from here on out. There's a lightness to you. I breathe in. I breathe in to refresh. And there's like a refreshment that's happening in your whole essence. And you may be hungry because my stomach is also growling. I'm just kidding. There's a sweetness to this. And that's the one. I almost bent it. The Roar, number 52. Yeah, the power of this. The power of this is immense. I think that what you're going to find I know there's a sweetness and a change and all of that, and none of that, and this like tower-esque energy, none of that leads to like this emperor vibe, but it is exactly that. It's the sitting back and knowing that the changes that we've made and that what we're about to execute is going to bring prosperity and deliverance for all. And it's like that intensity of knowing. The intensity of knowing makes all the difference to you. It may scatter. That energy may scatter to and be incorporated in those around you, but This is an incredibly powerful knowing, an incredibly powerful change of balancing whatever it is, relationships, family dynamics, work situations, maybe just you and your energy and your approach to life, but there is a recalibration of the scales, and it will exact change, and it is every bit as powerful as you imagine it's going to be. That is truly all I have to say. Thank you so much, Libra, for your time and energy. I am wishing you all the best. Take care. Moving on to Scorpio. What do we have for Scorpio during this full moon in Cancer? Scorpio. Full moon in Cancer, please. What is the energy for Scorpio during this full moon in Cancer, please? Okay, Scorpio, you have She of the Correct, number 5, and Las Gunas, number 39. Scorpio, I think that in this past year, 14, 16 months, you have been doing everything you possibly can to make changes and to triumph over disasters in your life and your world. You've done everything you can. Stop. This time, right now, and you may be seeing signs of this already, is that you have put in what you need to put in, and now it's time for the universe, and through the universe, the world and the people around you, to return that to you. Putting in any more energy into it is not going to help at all. It's time for you to sit there and know that you deserve for that healing and triumph to occur, and allowing the universe to bring it to you. Were you bored while I went over there and put some more water into my soup? Because if you were, then maybe this isn't your message. If you were taking a look at the things that you've done over this past year in regards to what I'm speaking about, and you still have those things like, oh, I could have done this, or I could do this more, or could have... Think about those things, and I want you to maybe even write them down. And then I want you to stop and see who around you and how the world around you is providing those things to you. Because that is what these cards, what this energy promises to you. Ground yourself, but also understanding what's coming for you. That's too many. One more for Scorpio, please. One more for Scorpio. This is very similar to the Leo energy, but in just such a different way. Singer of Connection, Number 6. Yeah, you've poured so much into it. Whether this is a person, a relationship, an environment, a work scenario, a business, I don't know, learning to read, who knows what it is, becoming an attorney. I don't know what, it could be anything, underwater basket weaving. It really doesn't matter what it is. You put so much into it, and for there to be true connection, you need to wait for the reciprocation. Oh, this is a little bit different than the Leo reading. Theirs was about self-reciprocation, self-charge. This Scorpio is almost as if you've overinvested and the balance isn't there, and now you need to just take a moment and step back and watch the beauty of the universe balance that out for you. For Libra and Scorpio, I feel like this clarity that I didn't have in the early reads. I think in the early reads I was grasping for words and for understanding and then that type of thing. But this is really like your readings may be shorter in time-wise, but there's this distinct clarity to especially the Libra and Scorpio reads. I think that you're going to learn to love the universe and what you see in this time period moving forward for at least the next few months, as you watch the universe deliver to you and balance out what you think is missing, or what you thought you could do more to engage in the space. And I think there's a couple surprises coming along the way. But just allow. This could be a learning of how to receive, right? I'm sure there's a lot of readers that talk about the ability to receive and opening yourself up for reception. So I won't go too far into that, or you can look that up on YouTube. But yeah, there's a very heavy element of that here. Okay. A very heavy element in a very positive way, Scorpio. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your energy with me. And I'm wishing you all the best in this new, full moon in Cancer. Mahalo. And last but certainly not least, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, what do we have for Sagittarius in this full moon in Cancer, please? Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy for the full moon in Cancer. All right, stepping back out into flow. You cannot get any better than ending it on that, Sagittarius. Good job. We are all heading into a new journey, right? During this time. This is like the culmination. This is where we're saying our last goodbyes, right? The culmination of everything that's happened over the last 16 months, walking us into this brand new experience that we're about to have. And so appropriately, you have the Journeyman number 15 and the Fawn number 35. This is really about taking an adventure off the beaten path, someplace that you've never been before, but understanding and feeling that security and that light, that which is flow. You're in flow. You've been aligning to flow during this time, and I think there is there's an ask in this for you, and that is to understand that whatever may come your way, realize that it sounds so boring and trite, but that it really is for your highest good. You will know what decisions to make. You know who you are, and if you make them from that space, you will remain in that in this energy of constellation. You know what I mean? So if you've watched some of my prior readings, I talk about a period of constellation and desolation, and this being in flow is consolation, right? There's lessons to be learned in desolation, in those times when you feel like nothing's connecting, things of that nature. You may have, for it to come up like this, you may have been in that space for quite some time, but there has been some understanding, some incorporation of the shadow, right? We don't get rid of our shadow. We understand its workings, and we understand when is the right amount of light and shadow to use in any situation, right? We calibrate that, and you have a very good and comfortable understanding of that within yourself, that you've been working on over the course of this. Like there have been traumatic experiences over the past like year and a half, I'm not gonna lie, but during that has all been to kind of, you know, examine every all ends of the spectrum and every point in between, so that you know what that perfect calibration is. You know, to make purple, what is the perfect RBG, you know, numbers to create in all blue situation, you know, in a blue situation, what is it to create in a red situation, what is it to create in purple, in green, and right, like you have spent this time gaining that knowledge, that additional wisdom beyond just like, oh, what's happening, to how does that factor in on all of these different levels. And somehow it's brought, it really has been a self understanding a journey, which led you to, if you're not already in, you will be soon into that flow, and to be able to take on whatever this next experience is for you. Let's get one more for Sagittarius. One more for Sagittarius, please. Full moon in Cancer for Sagittarius. Like I said, you're not going to hit pitfalls along the way, but you're going to know how to go around them, build a bridge over them, or fly through them, right? One more for Sagittarius, yeah, or is that the end of that? This one. Bright Mother, here you go. The development of all new growth and experiences. It's a transformation energy when a flower, and when the flower turns into fruit, right, through a bee, or when a bee changes pollen into honey, through its inner mechanics, right? So it's becoming more. It's through that trial and tribulation that gain wisdom, that helps you to be in flow and to blossom, or to create that blossoming, right? This is exciting. I'm excited for you, actually. Okay, Sagittarius, that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I'm wishing you all the best, and I just want to say thank you if you have watched through this video. Thank you for being here. I appreciate this little community that we have here. And so if you would like to be a part of it, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you for individual sign readings in the next few days. Mahalo.